Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Manichi. It's time to review the latest creature feature horror film. It is called The Tank. Yes!
Don't fuck with them hoes.
Now, The Tank is a 2023 creature feature horror film. It was written and directed by Scott Walker. Now, the film stars Lucien Buchanan, Matt Whelan, and Zara Nashbaum. Now, in this film, after mysteriously inheriting an abandoned coastal property, Ben and his family accidentally unleashed an ancient, long-dormant creature that terrorized the entire region, including his own ancestor for generations. Oh no! You know, horror fans, when it comes to horror films, no matter what the subgenre, whether it's a slasher, a possession, a demon, or any other type of subgenre, we seem to have a similar setting that takes place where the action actually takes place in horror films. You know, whether it's The Cabin in the Woods, like, the actual horror film, The Cabin in the Woods, or Evil Dead, a creepy or elegant looking mansion, or even the medieval style castle in the middle of nowhere. We've seen places like this in most horror films. We can't seem to get rid of that setting. Most of the time it works. We have people who go into these places and either have to fight off a psychotic killer, an evil spirit or demon, or even a monster in order to survive. Like I said, we've seen that setting in all over the places, and that's what we have here with New Zealand writer-director Scott Walker's latest project called The Tank. Now, this is set in 1978, and we're introduced to Ben, his wife Jules, and their daughter Rhea. They're struggling to make ends meet while running a pet store. Now, an attorney that's representing his late mother's estate tells Ben that he has discovered that his mother owns a coastal property in Oregon that no one really knew about. It's like, wow. Now, believing that they can sell the property, Ben takes his family along, go to spruce up the place, and unfortunately and unknowingly unleash a long dormant creature that was living in the water tank, and that's basically what this film is about. Now, first off, you have to give Scott Walker credit on how well this film looks. It looks very nice, looks well produced. You got to give him credit for how well this film looks. Obviously, he and his cinematographer take full advantage of the coastal scene, from the woods, the ocean, the trees, the growing moss, and even the house itself. While it looks old, dingy, and rusty looking, it also looks very peaceful. And at times very beautiful. We get some nice sunsets. Rhea's having a good time with their dog running around. Like this, when they spruce the place up, you can see the reason why his parents bought this property. It looks very nice and peaceful. I mean, you would never suspect that something terrible has happened in this place, so Walker, he does a good job in creating the type of atmosphere for a film like this. Unfortunately, Walker does not do a good enough job in creating the correct amount of tension and suspense that you need for a film like this. It's just lackluster at best. Now, you really can't blame the actors, as Lucien Buchanan, Matt Whelan, and Zara Nashbaum tried to make the audience guess what happens to Ben, Jules, and Rhea, but they're hampered by Walker's dull and boring script. I mean, even when Ben learns the truth of what happened to his parents and his sister, I mean, he doesn't have the shock value that Walker was going for. The typical thing that we've seen in films like this. Ben, he didn't know his father, and his father and his sister supposedly disappeared. His mother went to a insane asylum. He really didn't know what happened to him, and so of course, when they get there and they actually find the truth what happened to him, it's supposed to be, wow, we didn't know that. But unfortunately, because the film is so dull and boring, when that event happens, it's like, wow, that's it. I expected more. Unfortunately, that's because the film simply goes by the typical playbook that we've seen before in other creature feature horror films. I mean, there's no sense of danger. And so when the creature does attack, we believe that Ben and his family will survive because there's not really any danger. There's no suspense. There's no tension. There's nothing that makes the audience feel sorry for what's happening to the family, because it's just, again, very lackluster. I mean, the main reason why the creature itself, because it doesn't look terrifying at all. It certainly isn't scary at all. I mean, it shrieks and squeals, and it kind of looks. It doesn't even look intimidating. There's some okay gore effects that we see later on in the film, but not coming from the creature at all. It's like they were obviously limited by the budget. And I'm sure Walker was limited by the budget that was used to make this film, but I've seen better looking creatures that was more terrifying than this one on films that had even a lower budget than what this film has. Again, I don't know what the budget was for this film, but obviously, whatever budget they have, they certainly didn't go into making this creature at least look intimidating, at least frightening, or at least have it that where that we feel that there's some type of danger that the family has to be put in, so that way we feel sorry for them, hope that they escape from it. But we don't have this problem with this film. And another problem is the pacing, as scenes kind of drag on too long, especially in the third act, which I believe is about 20 minutes too long, as we have the typical child in danger cliche again. But I didn't feel at any time that Rhea was any type of danger. Now, this is a huge step down for Scott Walker, who was given praise on his first outing behind the director's chair with 2013's The Frozen Ground that starred Nicolas Cage. And that was a huge hit on Netflix. A lot of people had a lot of praise for that film. They thought Scott Walker was going places. But unfortunately, since that's almost been 10 years since that film came out, he really hasn't done anything. And this is his latest project. Well, you really missed this one, guy. So, guys, what we have here is a very dull, lackluster, boring creature feature, despite the nice-looking setting and some okay acting from the leads. Very little gore, no blood whatsoever, something that we suspect in some creature feature films. And again, I don't know what Scott Walker was doing, but he really misfired on this one here. So, I'm going to give The Tank only 1.5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Only giving 1.5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. It's not bad, a bad horror film. Like I said before, he had a nice setting. I like the family, I like the acting, but everything else was just so dull and boring. And it's like, oh God, this is the best you can do. So you're only gonna get 1.5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. So there you have it, guys. That's my video for today. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share, because it does help out with that YouTube algorithm. Have you seen The Tank? Right now, I believe it's got a limited release in theaters, and I know it's streaming on some streaming services. I don't know where it's at right now because I got sent a screener for it. But if you want to check it out, go ahead and check it out. And if you have, please leave your comments in the comment section below. I'm telling you what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. That way, we notify anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. I'll see you in my next video. Y'all guys stay safe out there.